Hello folks, Sam, Real Guitars, and in this video I'm going to dismantle and pack away my personal Oakcaster Headless guitar. This is number 16 out of the series, and this is one I'm taking up to my dad's place in Coventry, where I go up and look after him for a week while my stepmom goes away on holiday. So this is a good opportunity to just take down this guitar, and when I get up the other end I will basically film, probably on the iPhone or something, fitting some new strings. Now I've got my carry-on luggage here that is small enough to go in something like EasyJet overhead thing, and that's the whole point about these guitars. So if you were going on business or on holiday, you might want to take one of these with you. Makes this job easier, but it's not likely you'd take it away on holiday. So trampolining. So what you do have on this bridge is a little crank for winding on the strings at your destination, which is totally possible to do. It's just a little bit slower than this. So I have basically, I'm going to take the strings off, pull them out of this end, undo the neck, put a bit of bubble wrap around them and fit them into my suitcase for travel. And the nice thing about this headless guitar is that the neck goes in completely flat profile. There's no angle like there is in the Les Paul or my other Oakcasters to meet with this top mounted bridge, and it means that when everything's put back together again, all of this arrangement stays completely stable. Let's go the other way. All of that stays stable and you get the exact same action back. So there goes the first string, and these little bridge arrangements here are fantastic. Originally they're designed theoretically so you can tune up with this, and if you've got vice-like fingers you actually can, but I much prefer to use my own little custom-made tuning knob that sits on top of the unit, and because I've added a little magnetic, I'll get this string out of the way, just move. Because I've added a little bit magnet into this unit, I can do a quick tune like that, and then it goes back into its neat little magnetic hole in the back. So it makes it a lot easier than either using this crank, which sits magnetically in there, or trying to do it with your fingers, which under stress or tension is very difficult to do. So I'm just going to whip off these other strings. It seems like a long wind, but actually the string, I don't know if you can, you probably can't see, but looking at my fingers, the string length is only actually about an inch past the actual bobbin itself, or the spool I should say. So when I'm putting them on, I pull them through and cut them off about an inch past the back end of the bridge, and that's all I need. Oh, it'll help if I have a bit in there. Get the right one. This guitar is by way of a prototype, so when I made it I hadn't really road tested this bridge, and to be honest I didn't expect that much of it. Having got it from AliExpress, the Chinese wholesaler, find this string, I wasn't massively optimistic about the quality of it, or its durability, or even its ability to stay in tune and operate, fully functional playing mode. But I've been absolutely blown away by it. It's not only robust enough, it's brilliant to position when you're ready to fix the thing onto the body, but it also stays, it's great to adjust, it stays in place, and it retains the tuning fantastically. So I played the other night at a pub, open mic night, and I hadn't expected to play, and I was invited on to up to play, and I'm going the wrong way. Somebody gave me an acoustic tuner, and obviously it was a bit noisy and that wouldn't have worked. So basically, I just got up and trusted it would be in tune, and lo and behold, it was in tune, and B, it stayed in tune for 7 or 8 songs. So I had no worries at all about it. And I think it stays so well in tune because it's got so little string either side, and it's just a very simple and direct unit. So having road tested this one and found it superb, I'm quite happy to reuse it. The other little thing I've just noticed, by the way, this is making this a bit longer video, the nature of this means that these strings are actually reusable. I could get these back on without any problem. It's very different from wrapping them tightly around a tuner at the other end for some reason. So if you wanted to, you could take these with you if you were short on cash. Let's put it this way, there's no essential reason why you couldn't. And the way I see it is, if you're going on holiday for a couple of weeks or you're going to gig somewhere, then you would more than likely want to take some new strings with you, which I'm doing, and as I did last year on my honeymoon. But you know, you can see that these are in pretty good nick, and I could just chuck those in my suitcase and they'd be ready to stick on at the other end should I want to. So there we are, the guitar with its strings off, and then the next part of this is very simple. We just get the big old Allen key thing. Now this is an M8. These are M8 bolts, and they sit, or they go into M8 threaded inserts into the in the heel itself. I've been doing some experiments recently with different types of fixings to make sure they're really strong, and there are various different ways, but these are glued in. These inserts are partly glued in and obviously screwed in as well. So I just always take care to slack them off the same sorts of amounts, and you get yourself a bolt or two. I always have a little bit of grease on these to help them go in nice and smooth. And then, oh, it's already moving. What we get is a neck that comes out nicely. And in this guitar, this is my own personal one, I have a little bit of tiny little bit of a shim in here, but that's just me, and I'll take that with me. But in all the other ones I've got, the production ones, there is no shim. So I'm still, like I say, these weren't entirely flat the way they seat, and I'm not 100% happy with the fixing. So I'm doing experiments at the moment to make sure they stay absolutely put. I think the really important thing is got to get an absolutely dead flat surface between the two in order for them to stay put. So this, I know where these sit. I know where these sit. These sit together. So what I'm going to do is basically, if I were travelling tomorrow, which I am, although I don't have the rest of my stuff here, I would probably just get my neck. This is my industrial grade bubble wrap, which I use for sending guitars out to customers. And so I get myself a little bit of this bubble wrap, wrap the neck in it, and then depending on what's in the case already, I've got a couple of options. There's quite a lot of hangover or excess here, so I can, if I'm tight for space, I can shove it all down there, and if I could find myself a pair of scissors or a blade, which is usually knocking around, but in this case it doesn't really matter too much. What I can do is I can just put this in. Well, I can't because I need the scissors. Give me the scissors. What a blade. I'm just going to cut this to the right length so I'm not carrying around excess bubble wrap that I don't need. Okay, so there's my little neck package, and here's my guitar, or my very small case So that fits in there nicely. And then we've got this bit, which I would do the same too, ready to go. And I might just get myself a little baggie. This isn't obviously the right bag for it, but it's a yellow sticky man, but I'm going to use it, little plastic container, by liberating the sticky man. There you go, friend. Spend some time up there, hang out with the other things. And I'm just going to put the little tiny bits that I need for this guitar into there, and I will close the little bag with a bit of tape for now. So the guitar itself, just sit up on there like that and give it a little bit of protection. You don't even need this, because the guitar is going to sit amongst, if you're taking it on a business trip or on holiday, the guitar is basically going to sit amongst all your clothes and soft furnishings anyway, so this is kind of an added precaution. Now at the other end you will need your Allen key. There we go. And when it comes to it, I can fit this in here, and then this goes over the top, and when it comes to it, I'll fit everything else around it. So the only things that I need to add into this kit, as it were, is, in this case, is going to be a couple of clips, things to cut off the excess strings, but you can do that with a sturdy pair of scissors if you need to. I think just for compactness sake, since I'm going for a week, I'm going to put all of this in here and just tie it up with a little bit of tape, keep it all in one unit. So that's pretty much my guitar kit, ready to go, with kind of excessive wrapping really. It doesn't have to have this much, but since I can, I will, and it will withstand pretty much anything. Okay, so there we go. This is a very small case actually, but it will just fit in here. There you go, and then I'll leave those bits off to the side. So there you go, there's my Oakcaster ready to travel. I'm thinking of, I can either, if I've got some room left over, I don't know if I will, I can either take this, which is a great little unit, the Zoom, with all its battery powered, so I can take a recharger as well. It starts to get a bit bulky. Or if I'm really stuck for space, I'll take my little plug-in amp plug thing by Vox, which is extremely small. Okay, so you know, this is like I say, this is a very small case, and interestingly, Russell, who bought one of these guitars off me, fitted his guitar into his case for carry-on luggage, which I think was a couple of inches bigger than this one in every dimension, but this is a small trip case. But you can see the Headless fits very nicely in there. Okay, end of video. Thank you for watching. Hope that was informative, and I'll show you the reassembly at the other end. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to take my guitar with me tomorrow in a case fully assembled, but while I'm at it, so it gives me an opportunity now to to just go through the reassembly as if I was arriving at my destination. So I'll unpack it and string it as if I had just arrived somewhere. So I have my various bits and pieces. Strings, tools, whatnots. the body. Okay, what I'll do is I'll put that on there while I'm at it, so just give me something to rest on. Now with this guitar I have a couple of small shims which I'm going to reinstall at this point. So they are in here, neatly packed away with my whatchamacallits. Whatchamacallums? Those things, bolts. Okay, so in this I have a flat bit on the back there, and I have a little piece of copper lifting it up, and then these two bits go together like that, and then it's a case of lifting it up, making sure it's seated properly, and then get our bits out. Just make sure it's in place, and then we just put our bolts in finger tight, or just loosely to begin with. And then the idea, or the aim now, is to just, I think you can see that, just turn them, screw them in a little bit until they're beginning to seat, and they want to be, it'll pull itself into the correct alignment when it's there. So again, it's getting a little difficult to handle, so I'll just gently tighten them up by hand like this. And then what I'm going to do is just have a quick look at the alignment of the neck, make sure it's seated where I want it to be seated, and then once I'm confident that it is, I can just give it a little bit of extra turns. I just did some checking on the way this is attached, and this neck isn't perfectly, it plays great, but the actual attachment points are not as good as the later ones or subsequent ones, and the reason for that is that they need to work really well. You've got to have an exact mating between the parts. So what am I doing? I'm going blue and blue, white and white. Yeah, so you need two very flat surfaces. If you have anything else, you get a slight lift of the, or you have two bits that slightly don't line up, and then one, this is really dim. You get the risk of one, when you pull them two faces together, what happens is there's a little air gap effectively, which can cause the start to pull out the threaded insert. So, and that only happens if you have a shim or an uneven surface under there. And in this case, in this guitar, I do have a shim, so it's just very slightly pulled one of the threaded inserts up a little bit. So I don't know how good the light is here, but I can't even see anything at all with this end. So I'm just putting the strings in. I've taken off the little string retainer, and I'm just first of all threading the string straight through. I'll put the retainer, the little string holder, back on afterwards. So what am I looking for here? I want this one. It's very dim. Really could do with some extra lighting. This is a great simple bridge to re-string, because what you have to do is put the cut about an inch of wind on, stick it on, and if you have a power driver, that's a powered screwdriver, electric screwdriver, you can use that. Or if you don't, you can use the supplied little crank, which is a little bit slower and fiddly. So in this set of strings I've got an extra high E, which I can take with me on my travels tomorrow if I wish. But it's pretty strong. I've not had any problem with it breaking strings with this bridge arrangement. So as you can see, just pushing all my 6 strings on, and they just go through the end here. Originally I was going to take this in my suitcase and just have one suitcase, but then I would have to take a computer bag as well. So I would have a suitcase with a guitar in it and my computer bag. It wouldn't leave me much room for clothes because I'm going for a week. Okay, so first thing is, get that out of the way. With this guitar, and how well you can see these things, I'm going to just put the retainer bar lightly back on in place so that it's ready to tighten down. Just make sure those are all in their little slots. I've used a graphite nut on this one, although on others I've used a brass nut, and I probably would like to use brass again on others in the future. So now I'm just going to get a feel of how far down this needs to go to have a sort of evenly spaced bar. That looks about right. Okay, so I'm going to use my power screwdriver for this little thing. And it's a really nice way of doing it. So you start with your first string, your low E, and they go run right down to the bridge and no more than an inch past the bridge, and then cut off the excess like that. Meanwhile, I'm just going to tie up or round up my spare E, because I might as well take that with me in case I break it, since it's a freebie. So I'm going to just cut them all to their 1 inch past the mark, 1 inch past the bridge, no more than an inch even. Great stable tuning on these things. I'm really impressed. I'm impressed. I really didn't know what to expect with these components, and I'm very happy to use them again. I've already done another one with this bridge. There are other kinds of bridge units. You know, some people prefer. For some people, the fact that this appears to tune backwards on this bridge unit makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. For me, I don't really have a problem with it. I tune it so rarely, which is a good thing about this guitar. So I'm just going to give it a quick polish. Yeah, it needs to tune so rarely. I've got used to tuning it quote unquote backwards. But those people who prefer the other way around have suggested to me using something called the Overlords of Music bridge, which is a different unit that requires a rebate section cut out the back. It has big tuners at the back, and to be honest, I don't like it. I've seen it in operation, and now this is no, just don't like it. I'm happy with this stability of this. Now I'm just going to poke the string into there and watch it just come out the back. I've got my wrong glasses on for this, but I'll persevere. So there you go. It's in its slot. It's done up. Do the same with the other one. It would be advised to get some really bright lights going, so you can see when the string. What you want to do is you want to get the string to just slightly pop out the other side. Which, to be quite honest, I can't quite see at the moment, unless I stand further back and look for some bright lights. That's on the mark. Okay. So you can see how smooth and easy this goes on. These are all basically left in the right position from when I took the strings off. So they're already correctly aligned. pulling through at the end there to make sure. Sometimes the string is just sitting out, or the ball end is sitting out very slightly. But yeah, as I say, to take the strings off, you end up with all the holes aligned in a particular position, and so that when it comes to re-threading them, they're in the right place. So nice and quick. Oops, leave behind. No more mess, no more bits to cut off. We're almost done, and it won't take long even to stretch these out as well, which is what's also great about it. Now, when you get the thing through, you want to go through and then just pull back enough to get a bite, but not. No, that wasn't very good. You don't want too much sticking out the other side. I've gone and messed that up a little bit now. With the thinner strings, it's not so bad because they can quite comfortably fold over. And finally, a high E. Back that one up a little bit. Push that one all the way through. Now that wasn't a good idea. So what I've done is I've created myself a bit of a curl on here that I don't want. So I'm just going to cut that a little bit off and do it again. With some better light it would be much easier. Now I'm not getting it to catch. I really don't want this extra little curl on the end. You've got to get it to fold over once it's gone through, and without bright lights on this I can't really see what I'm doing, so I'm not really doing it to work. Trying to go through. This is what I didn't need. Now, I think I'm going to be here forever trying to do this one. I'm going to give it one more go to chop this curly bit off. Doesn't need all that excess wind on, so you can see we've got a few bites at it. This time I'm going to just push it all the way through and let it stick out way out the back, just so I can be sure of getting this hook over. I can't even see it to get it through the damn thing. Really annoying. There you go. All the way through, and still plenty to wind on, so very forgiving. As you can see, it's got a few shots at it. So there we have the guitar strung, and I can start to give it some stretches, and I'll find a nearby donor guitar for a tone, and get it all tuned up. I'm just getting the biggest stretches out of it, and I'm going to use this thing here to tune it. See how quick it is. That's amazing. I really love it. Ready to play. Reassembled, exactly the same action as before, not a whisker difference. That's the great thing about these. So it's that simple. A little bit of stretching still required, and we'll do some fine tuning with that, and then we're home and dry, ready to play. So this is going to go in a bag, small size bag, perfect fit for this. But the reason for that is it will also fit my laptop, which means I only have to take my small suitcase with some clothes and the guitar bag over my shoulder with laptop and guitar in it. That's great for the train. So, but if I'd have been travelling overseas, I would have left this in the small suitcase and taken it on board the aircraft. But I'm only going on the train in Britain. So there you go. All right. Reassembly and restringing of a Real Love Guitars Headless Oakcaster for you.